Adrian, thanks for joining me. I'll try to pronounce the last name, but how do you pronounce it?
It's Araouzou, man. Not everyone gets it right. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, I spelt it right, yeah?
He did
I
actually.
spelt it right, I made sure. I said to you the other day that I didn't even know what TV show you're on, which is probably strange for you, I suspect.
Yeah, surprisingly, man. I didn't realize how big Married at First Sight was until I went on, and I felt like everyone in Australia knew who I was or someone on the show anyway. It's massive, so it's surprising that you don't know, but it's probably for the best, bro. Even myself, man, I didn't even watch Married at First Sight. You know, I got offered the opportunity, and I thought, it'd be a fun experience. And at that time, wasn't much going on in my life, and then I just took it, bro. And before you know it, I'm on Channel 9 watching myself back.
For someone that is in my position and doesn't know too much about you, what is it I should know?
To be fair, man, as cheesy as it might sound, like there's not much to know. Surprisingly enough, I keep to myself a lot, and I like people not knowing too much about me. I own a couple businesses. I, enjoy doing the simple things in life. Like literally, I can sit there and explain my life and it would just be boring. I like to go eat. I like to work on my businesses and hang with friends, bro. That's literally about it.
I saw a post the other day that it wasn't even all that long ago in May, that you were struggling at the time.
Yeah, I think since the show, man. So obviously we filmed last year in the show, and I had a few things planned for this year, and those things fell out. So the direction I had to go down this year was the plan, and then those things just fell out. And then then the show went on, and there was just a lot going. I didn't really know what was going to go on, and then I went and got caught up back in the scene of living in the moment. You can say going out, drinking, living that life, just experiencing it. Because my mum was like, "Oh, it's only a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're gonna be the center of attention, so you might as well lap it up because it's not something I want to do again." And I did, and then 6 months went by, and I felt like I didn't achieve anything. I didn't capitalize off the opportunity that I could have at the time, and I knew that. So 6 months went by, and I was just like, "What am I doing?" You know what I mean? I feel like just all over the shop.
You mentioned earlier that you like the silence. So were you going out, but you weren't yourself?
Yeah. So my life prior to the show, I hardly drink myself. I hardly go out. I kept to my 3 friends, And then when I went on the show, I was going out with everyone else on the show, getting invited to events, drinking a lot. And that, for me, I live a very disciplined lifestyle. Like I like to do the same thing in and out, go gym, hang with friends, and work on businesses and my business. And obviously we have this new venture with Sauci. And then when I went on the show, everything else just got put aside, and I was focusing on pretty much just going out and having fun and enjoying life. And as we all know, that doesn't really get you anywhere. And I feel like that was just taking me off track for my goals. Like I was distracted. I couldn't focus on anything. The gym was falling behind. My body was falling behind. Income was falling behind and everything. And so I felt at the time it's like when you should be doing something and you're not. And especially if that person that's all about growth and being better and you feel like you're just falling behind, that's going to put you in the worst position mentally. And that's what it did.
I think Alex Hormozi spoke about it. He said, there's nothing worse than knowing you should be doing something but not doing it.
100%. And that's exactly me. And obviously me and my twin brother, we're like that. If you're training, you want to get the best results. If you're working, you want to get the best results. No matter what you do in life, you want to get the best results. And I think that, like you said just then, if you fall behind and you should be doing it, that's the worst position to be. Rather, if you don't live a disciplined lifestyle and you're not doing that, then it doesn't matter. But when you know what you need to be doing and you're not doing it, that is when you feel lost and confused, and it's hard to get back on that track. And that's where I was at that time. But eventually I was like, all right, now I got to start saying no. This life, it's been 6 months and I feel like I got nowhere. I fell behind. I used to read books every day. I stopped reading. I haven't read a book in 6 months. Little things like that fell off. Even with discipline of a diet, all those things were lacking in my life at the time, because anytime I promised myself I'm not going to go out this week or I'm not going to do this and that, early on this year I was doing. So I was like, I didn't even trust myself or believe what I was saying. And then I woke up one day, I'm like, nah, I just can't keep going like this. Otherwise you're going to end up in a hole, as I was feeling already. And then eventually I was like, nah, I started saying no and got back on the train, you can say.
Take me back to life before you went on the show. You said you were...
life before the show, man. It was, honestly, I didn't touch a drop of alcohol before for 8 months. Me and my friend had a baking page at the time. So I was focused on building that. I had my business. literally it was the same thing day in, day out, man. Gym, you know, like as cheesy as it sounds too, like growth and that sort of stuff. And I was reading and I was focusing on the future and planning that out, you know, step by step, day by day. And that was it, literally gym, you know, hanging out with friends here and there and focusing on building my social media at the time because we had that baking page and we were planning to go into a business together. That was the plan. That's why we stay consistent. And literally that was about it. Just literally working out. No,
I had a chat with your brother earlier today as well. And I do like to understand the man or the woman that sits in front of me. Often a lot of their behaviours and characteristics have come from their childhood as well.
yeah.
Is there anything that stands out from your childhood that is a representation of who you are today?
Definitely, man. I think for us, me and my brother and my sisters as well, it's our mum, you know what I mean? Me and James didn't love school, you know, we weren't the high achievers in school. For us, I mean, for me anyway, I'm sure James felt the same, was like, you know, they didn't make sense for us. Like, what are we learning here? What are we doing? It was hard to focus on something that we weren't interested in. And, you know, when we left school in year 10, you know, we're going from job to job, trying out all this different stuff. You know, your parents obviously try to guide you in the right direction, get a trade or study something. And me and him done that a number of times. We went from job to job and just hated it. And my mum was always just like, you know, even probably from 15, 16, my mum was like, you're never going to work for someone, you know, just accept that, you know, save your money and then eventually go start a business. And I guess she always believed in us in the sense that, like, you know, you can do whatever you want in life. And that's still, like, even now, like, that's why we have a business. I opened a business before, and me and my brother and mum opened up another business now, because it's like, you know, when you're younger and your parents tell you to do something and you want to do the opposite, it's like you're fighting against it and you feel confused. Whereas our mum was just like, accept that that's not your reality is ever going to be to work for someone and work a trade or that sort of style jobs. Just, you know, save your money and then go do whatever it is you want to do in life and just, you know, pursue that and it will all work out.
Did you get doubted?
Did I get doubted? Nah, I don't think I did, man. Like I said, I always kept my circle small. Like, you know, it was because I got a twin brother, so it was always like having a best mate by your side. And it's like, you know, whatever I wanted to do, I mainly spoke about it with him. So therefore, like, you know, obviously we're not the ones to be like, oh, you can't do that. I guess that's the best in having a twin brother, is like we both have the same mindset as well. Like, so if I said, you know, I want to start a business, he'll be like, yeah, go all in, you know. So never really got doubted in that sense because I was always careful who I spoke to about those type of things in life.
When you look at I've always wondered what it's like to have a twin. Is it good?
Man, it's like having a best mate by your side all the time. You know, speaking from my experience with my twin, you know, it's like having a best mate by your side that you speak to daily. So you never actually feel alone, to be honest, because even though we haven't lived together for the last 4 or 5 years, but we still speak daily, literally. Even though we're in the same state the last year and a half, you know, the same thing every day, speaking all day, every day.
I remember you said in another conversation that if you're feeling off some days, like, you'll say that to your brother and he'll say the same thing.
Yeah, no, well, not so much, but like I said in a conversation before, I was like, the good thing about having a twin that knows you better than anyone, I'm assuming like brothers and sisters, but obviously maybe twins a little bit more intimate. It's like, you know, having someone, for example, if you're sitting there having a day where you're just bitching and moaning and you got a twin brother that knows you better than anyone, they're like, you know, suck it up, stop being a little bitch, you know what I mean? Like, you just complain, like, have you cry for your minute and then go about your day. And me being me, like, that's the best thing for me, because, you know, everyone gets stuck in a little rut every now and again, but some people are like, you know, oh, you know, it's okay to feel that way. And I think sometimes that can be detrimental to people's, like, mindsets. Like, I want someone to tell me, hey, like, you're not thinking straight, you're not being yourself, like, pull your head in and, like, move on, sort of thing. And that was a benefit of that's the benefit of having a twin.
Do you have many of those days?
Nah, you know, to be honest, when I'm in check with everything, you know, when I'm like training, like I said, stacking up the little wins, doing everything, like, you know, going to the gym, going for my walk, doing the work that I need to do that day, eating right, all those things. When I do all that, I don't really doubt myself, no, because like all those little wins is what adds up to, you know, success, or, you know, what you define as success. So I try to do that every day, but when I don't, you know, I'm human. Everyone has those days every now and again.
It's interesting because you said before that when you weren't, or when you were in a rut earlier, the past 6 months, you were dropping all those things.
Yeah, 100%. And that was the biggest lesson that I learned this year. It's like, it's the little things that make you feel good. such as like, you know, if you say you're going to read, if you like to read 10 pages a day. If you like to go for a
Sure.
walk and work out, do those things daily or as much as you can throughout that week. And, you know, that is how you accumulate, like, to feel good in the long run. So I think anyway, works best for me anyway.
I saw someone have a go at you for buddy drawing, mate.
Yeah, drawing.
What did that guy say?
Oh,
You
man.
know you're a grown adult or something?
Yeah. So even things like that, man, like those things I like to colour in. I just one day, actually fun enough, my brother had colouring in books and I just started doing it. And I made a TikTok one day and it just went viral, popped off on TikTok. And then anyways, a bunch of people sent me out all these other like books and sheets, and someone sent me out this big sheet. It was like a A1 or A4 piece of paper. And I started doing that and I just got into it. And it's sort of like, for me, I'm a creative person and I'm a deep thinker. So when I color in, like that's where I can think of like whatever it is. Like I can reflect on my day. I can think about if I'm thinking about content or whatever. That's where my creative comes down when I'm still, and that's why I started coloring in. And so I mean, you know, especially being on the show, you're always gonna have your haters, regardless. No matter if you put yourself out there for, you know, your cooking or whatever, there's always gonna be someone jealous out there or trying to be negative towards you because you're trying to do something else and they're not. And eventually you just get, you know. You learn to not worry about them. You always, if you don't have them, then essentially you're not really doing the correct thing, as they say.
You said something amazing. You said in that same post, you said if they're above you, they're never going to try to bring you down.
Yeah,
I think that's such a great way to look at it.
100%. Like you know, I'm fortunate enough to have met a bunch of other people, like successful businessmen and that. And when I met them, I realized one thing. You know, that we're all the same. And if you speak to someone that has a successful business and you say you want to start your own business, no matter what it is, and you got nothing, they will always try to uplift you and be like, well, hey, you know, whether you hear a story like I was in the same position, now look at me, I'm killing it. And the only people that try to bring you down is the one below you. That's it. There's no in between. Like if you're a negative person and somewhat hate yourself, you want to bring people down to that level so they can feel what you feel because you're bitter at the world and bitter at them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Whereas anyone that's, you know, happy with themselves and their life, they're never going to try to just say something negative or bring you down.
One of the biggest downfalls over the past 6 months was not having clear goals. I was just taking life day by day, hoping everything would fall into place. I was wrong. Without direction, you're like a leaf in the wind, moved by everything, anchored by nothing. Remember writing that?
Yeah, it was on one of my posts earlier this year. Yeah. And then, man, that's what I said. It comes down to that. It's like you need to have your clear goals. You know, it's like as simple as that. You need to have clear goals. And if you don't have goals, then you're sort of just driving in no direction, hoping to end up at the finish line, but you don't even know where the finish line is. So it's like, for me, you know, I want to, I'm sure as like a lot of people, they want a lot out of life. And it's not even necessarily the things, it's about achieving as much as you can in your time on this earth.
I saw Naval Ravikant, he said the other day, the only true test of intelligence is if you get what you want out of life.
100% agree.
So true, isn't it?
And then, yeah, 100%. It's the perfect line. It's about, like, you know, I think one thing I learned, so prior to the show, you know, I'm 32 now, but around 27, 28, like I literally pretty much went MIA to the world. When people go like, I spent time alone to figure myself out, I genuinely done that. Like I spent about 3 years to myself. I didn't go out, I didn't party.
Why?
I don't know. I think, you know, you get to, for me, I just like had a realization that everything that we do, we are sort of somewhat influenced, right? Like the way you think, you're influenced by something. And you might not know, but subconsciously you're influenced by the shit that you watch online. So it's like, you know, are you thinking for yourself or are you thinking for others? Like, you know, people say, I want success, but what does success look like to you? Like for me, it's like a success, my end goal is, you know, have a big farm and live off grid more or less, you know, and have a lot of animals and have a happy family rather than opposed to, you know, 10 cars in my driveway. Like, don't get me wrong, I want a nice car, but I don't need 10. But where now it's like people are like, I want success, and they define success as having 10 amazing cars in their driveway and this big house and all this sort of stuff. But it's like, again, how well do you know yourself to know what you actually want? So if you don't want that and you think you want that, you're never going to get there, and it's going to hold you back. So when you define what you actually want out of life, you know, you realize it's realistic. And so when I sort of started thinking that way, I just been off, like I got off social media. And I felt like when I was on social media and sort of got off everything, it's like you compare yourself to everyone else. You're like, well, you're watching someone else say, even in your industry, oh, this guy, he's killing it now. He went from, say, 0 followers to 200,000 followers overnight. But what you don't understand is that guy's maybe been cooking steak for 10 years. He knows the ins and outs better than anyone. So that 10 years of experience and making content that you never seen was overnight. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, like this guy's got money, or he knows a bunch of other people. So you start using excuses when you're sitting on social media for everything else until you take a step back, and then you start to see how life really works, and you're just like, wait, we're all the same, and it's when my time is here, it's gonna come. And so I don't know, I just took a back step of everything, and I think that's where I built my confidence, realizing no one is better than anyone else, and I started thinking freely for myself. And in that time, I sort of really discovered what I wanted out of life and who I am. And I mean, I guess that sort of led up to me being on the show. People were saying I was the most honest person. Like that, it seems simple, but most people wouldn't go on TV or tell you what they really think. Like if you made a steak and I didn't like it, I would just tell you I don't like it. Like that's just me straight up. And I wouldn't lie to you, but that's not me trying to hurt your feelings. That's me trying to be like, well, I don't like it. It's good, but it can be a bit better. But that's not trying to bring you down. That's just be honest feedback. So you'd be like, wait a minute, like he said it. No one's ever told me that. Maybe you can have a bit more of this and that. And I think, like even discovering yourself and who you are is
Need some water?
Nah, it's all right.
Some water.
Yeah, anyways, in that time sort of where I figured out who I was, and I guess in the end of the day, it's going to lead me to where I'm going.
Did that help with the overthinking? I'm assuming those traits that you said before, the overthinking.
Yeah.
Because I'm in that phase right now, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why when I had to ask what show you're on, I genuinely don't watch or absorb the news.
Yeah.
It actually is blocked on my phone.
Yeah, so it should be. Like, yeah. I don't think, reality TV, it's, me personally, I don't watch it. Like, if I watch anything, it's educational. It can be in any field, literally. It can be about plants, whatever it might be. Something educational. That's just what I enjoy. But as for reality TV, I just think it's all drama, But I mean, if that's how you relax, I think that's one thing I learned this year as well. And I actually worked with a psychologist, and she made a good, she told me some good advice. It's like, even though you are, like, say, people like yourself want to be super successful, it's okay to have that downtime, whatever it might be, whether it's walking your dog, watching some bullshit reality TV. You should be able to turn off your mind and switch it off, because even then I learned myself, like, when you're constantly thinking about certain things, whether whatever it might be, growing social media success or whatever, you overload your mind and you actually can't think creative. And for me, I think that your best thoughts and best ideas come from somewhere that we don't know. Like, you'll be lying in bed one night, just chilling, and be like, fuck, that's a great piece of content idea. So you need to be able to relax your mind so you can hear that outside, because I believe in God as well. So I think everyone needs to have I believe in God.
God,
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
And I think, something that we can speak to God and God speaks to us, and you have to listen. But if your mind's constantly distracted and thinking, and but it's talking to yourself or watching social media or something, you never really have those outside voices that help you. And it's funny because I heard this thing as well. Nikola Tesla, I don't know if you know who he is. Yeah. Him and I think it was another famous artist, they said the same thing as like, I get my most creative ideas when I go to bed. I ask the questions, and essentially, like, it's just about switching off your mind. So no matter how it looks, I think everyone should learn how to switch their mind off, and that's where, like, you'll spark other ideas, content, or whatever it might be.
What are the questions you're asking when you switch off?
That's a good question. What do I ask? To be fair, I don't really ask much, bro. I'm all for gratitude. Like, when I switch off, I just remind myself to say thank you for everything that I have. Like, so every time I switch off, I remember to say thank you. If I'm not switched off, I don't say thank you. Like, thank you to get another day. Thank you for all the great things that happened today. I just count my blessings when my mind switches off. And it's just a reminder when I do switch off. Because if my mind's constantly going, I won't remember to say it.
It's hard. It's hard when you got the minds, because I've got the non-switching off mindset.
Yeah.
And I've also got the mindset that the level that I'm at now, whilst it might be good for some, is not where I want to be. So that when you're in those quiet times and you're perhaps reflecting on where you are right now, you're thinking about what you could be. But then you look back, even like 3 months ago, I said in a post, I'd do a LinkedIn post every few weeks. Sorry, every 2 a week. I put them on LinkedIn because it's like a reflection on where I am and what I'm talking about. And I said, if I had known that in 3 months I would have got monetized on YouTube, I would have quit my job on the spot. it just took a long time. It took that external belief building. And if I'd thought over that for too long, I would have just, it wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, and I think that, I guess, like I say, trust the process. If you're putting the work in and you are, which you do, then you got to trust it's going to work out. It might not be in your time. For example, you'd love to maybe making, say, $100,000 a month on YouTube next month. But the reality, I think is, like, for me, I also learn as well is, I think a lot of people nowadays get caught up in, like, manifesting and, like, sometimes, like, the unrealistic thing. Like, everyone wants that, say, example, the Lamborghini Urus. You can have it. When you want it tomorrow, like, people are like, oh, I can have it in a year's time. But also it's about being realistic. Like, can you have it in a year's time? Now, if you broke it down into, like, realistic terms, if you wanted to, between your rent, your setup and everything else, and let's say you made X amount, have you even broke down the figures to be like, can I even afford that car? And I think that we get so caught up in, like, oh, everything's possible and manifesting and all the things that we see online that happen overnight. I think taking a back step, be like, okay, what can I actually achieve within this year of my resources? Like, how much people can I get on this podcast? How much piece of content can I put out in a week and a day? And I think when you break it down like that, you start to realize of what you can actually achieve, so you're not actually disappointed by the end of the year or the 3 months. And when you break it down like that, you're like, oh, I actually did everything I could because I was realistic about it. Like, I can put out 2 pieces of content a day and get one person on the podcast. And we start to do that. I think that is how you don't get too caught up in being like, oh, I should be over here now.
It's funny, a lot of the time as well, if you want those things, like, you look back and you wonder what it'd be like to have them. And then when you get them, nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing. 100%. Yeah. And I know that, like, they go back to the saying that it's about the character and the person that you become, which is the most important thing. It's those traits that will make you, if you're successful in one thing, it's those traits that build you to that person will make you successful in something else. All that stuff, the cars, the watches and that sort of stuff. I mean, for me, I was fortunate enough to make some money, nothing like crazy like Lamborghini Urus money, but when I realized I had all the money to pay the bills and whatnot and all that sort of stuff, I'm like, and buy all the clothes or whatever I wanted. In that sense, I was free to what I thought was freedom. You realize that doesn't mean shit. Like, if you bought a nice car today, it'll be cool, exciting for a day, and in a week's time you'll be over it. It's about, like, the people that you can touch, the people you can inspire, and achieving the goals that you wanted to achieve.
You said earlier in the year that you didn't recognize the person that stared back at you.
Yeah.
What was that like?
To be fair, man, it was an ugly time. It's just like, like I said, it's worse knowing what you shouldn't be doing and you're doing it. And worse knowing that, like, you lost that trust and belief in yourself. Like, say anything you say, from the simple things, like, I'm going to stick to a diet for 1 week, I'm not going to eat any sugar, and you do it. Like, you can't even believe yourself. Like, you don't even believe yourself when you say that. That's an ugly feeling. And it's a scary feeling thinking, oh, okay, shit, that used to be me, now it's not me. And how long is it going to take to get back to that? Like, I just lost 6 months off, like, I put myself in a position now when I wasn't here. And it took me a long time to get to that point to believe everything that I said I would do, Like, for me, it took me 8 months prior to the show, like, of getting in that momentum of killing it. Like, so I thought I was killing it. Like, everything was in place, and now it's like I lost all that. And, like, now shit, to get back to that mindset and how I was feeling internally and looking externally, like, that was 8 months to get to that point. And now I'm, like, well and truly behind that, not even from the starting point. And I got to get back to the starting point and then go again. So yeah, it was ugly. It was an ugly feeling.
Why?
Like, just looking in the mirror and thinking, like, they're not recognizing who you are in that sense. And,
What was it like being alone then?
I was character building, bro. That's what it was like. And obviously, I mean, you're never alone because I got good family and friends around me. But in saying that, you are, because no one knows how you feel. And, like, you obviously can express yourself and you have support, like I always did. But at the same time, it's and I can see why people fall in depression. And it's just, for me, everyone's been through a lot in their life. You get ups and downs, feelings, emotions, etc. For me, it was just another realization of how the mind works, bro.
I think I remember you saying, I'm not embarrassed about anything I went through. What maybe T for you is a testimony for me. If you're going to talk about what broke me, invite me to the table so I can tell you what God did with the pieces.
Yeah, and that's right, man. I think everyone has their own journey. And even when I was on the show, man, people were, like, hammering me for certain things. And obviously a lot of things were taken out of context on the show. And, like, I know it sounds easier said than done, but if you got half of Australia talking shit about you and judging you, so they think they know you and they know nothing about you. Like people think that would have been easy. To be fair, I made it look easy, in my opinion, because I didn't care. But that was through all the years of, you know, my life experiences. I'm like, I got to that point where you can say whatever you want about me, and I'm going to continue to go about my day, and I'm not going to continue. Like, you can say whatever you want, and I'm going to just keep going about my day and keep striving towards my goals, and I'm going to live the life that I say I'm going to live without, like, I don't care about your opinion.
You said in that thing that maybe the haters are right or something. Like, so was it getting to you?
At that point, there was a point, you know, at that time where, like I said, you know, I was drinking every weekend and like getting lost up in, like, you know, just like that sort of life at the time. Yeah, it was like they got to you in the sense that, like, you know, like not as in like they got to me in the sense that, like, they sort of, I was starting to feel a type of way. Like they wanted me to feel a type of way. Like they were, because there were so much people, and there was people that were projecting good, but there was so much people projecting negative, where my life started reflecting a negative way of living. So in that sense, they got to me. You know what I mean? It's like, now I'm feeling that type of way, and that's what you wanted me to feel, and I felt that type of way. And it wasn't because of them, but, you know, I think everything is energy, but all that energy pushed towards me and hanging around essentially like people that don't have the same goals and getting caught up in that 2 seconds and enjoying it and thinking that mindset. Yeah, it got to me in that sense.
You said character building.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. Like I said, when you have, so it felt at the time, like I reckon at one time I was like the most hated guy in Australia. Again, that was my algorithm, so that's what I was seeing, and I felt like anyone that was talked about the show was mainly me. And people, like, you know, obviously I know the truth of the situations on the show, and so I was like, okay, you can sit there, judge me and think, oh, you know, I'm this type of person when you don't know nothing. It was easier for me to be like, okay, well, you don't know nothing, you didn't see the context. I know it, so I don't really care about your opinion. But again, how much people, like, a lot of people think that, you know, you can handle something like that. But imagine, like, people see negative comments. Like if someone said something about, you know, your steak, it makes you feel a type of way because you care about what you do. And you don't want anyone thinking negative about your steak or whatever it is that you do, your work, podcast, whatever. And so when I got, like, the whole of Australia questioning my character, which is one thing that, like, I believe I have a great character. You know, I'm honest, I'm loyal, I'm a great person. I literally do, you know, I try to do good by everyone, and I am a good person. So when I have everyone saying, oh, you're this person, you're a gaslighter, you're a bad person, it was like a lot. But in a sense, I also too, I feel like that was another test that God wanted me to go through, because it's like, again, if I can get through this, starting a business and copying some hate ain't going to worry me, because I already had, you know, what it felt like 90% of Australia hating on me. So why am I going to worry about what your opinion now with 5 people in the comments when I had like 5,000 people constantly talking about me online? So for me, it was just like another character building moment. It's like, well, if I can get through this, and like, in my mind, it doesn't get worse than what I copped online at the time. So I'm like, even 5% of hate or negativity towards me now is nothing. Like, it was character building.
Yeah.
And it reassured me of who I am. Like for me, you can't say you're something and not get tested. So if you say you're a strong person, then you're going to get tested. God will test you in a type of way. And for me, I felt like that was my test. I said no one will break me, because I've been through a lot more in my life that I think, okay, this is nothing. A bit of hate is nothing. And, you know, I brushed it off like nothing. Like, and so I was right in about the sense about my character.
Yeah, see, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah. I mean, it was 50-50. Like, the first half was bad, and then the last half I was like loved. So it was a roller coaster for me.
What did you learn most about yourself during that isolation phase when you were my age? Oh, I'm 30 now, but I started this whole personal development thing at 28 and have been pretty isolated since. But you said that there's power in being alone. I definitely wrote a quote down. Yeah, there is power in being alone only if you can understand. Yeah,
and I genuinely believe that. Like, a lot of people say, I'll spend time alone. Like, you have, like, what? I can't speak from everyone's experience, but I feel like a lot of people say that. Spending a weekend alone is not alone. Going off social media, you know, saying no to going out, you know, saying yes to the things that you want to do is being alone. Like, literally spending a year or two alone, like forming your own opinions and your own beliefs and your own way of thinking is being alone. And when you discover who you are, that's how you discover who you are, is by being alone. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm alone. Well, you're not, because you just broke up with your partner, whatever it might be. It's like, spending a solid minute until you discover who you are and you stand firm on your beliefs and your standards and morals in life. That's how you know you've been alone, because now you won't budge on for anything else. And I think that everyone should, like, you know, if you don't like, go back to drink. If you don't like drinking, don't drink. You know, spend the Saturday night alone. Get comfortable in your own time. That's it. That's when you can sit and go to the movies by yourself, or you can sit on a Saturday night and not think, oh, I'm missing out. And, you know, that's when you're comfortable being alone.
Yeah, it's just how long can you do it for? But I don't even see it as a punishment. Like a lot of people, like, I don't know how you do what you do, because I'm just, you know, I'm running this and everything that I do is, yeah, it's like I haven't gone to bed before 12:30 for like a week and a half.
Yeah, see, I think it goes back, you know, I don't know how the quote goes by Alex Araouzou again. He goes, you go through this stage where you are going to be that lonely stage. Yeah. And eventually you're going to get built to that person, to the next phase where you're going to meet like-minded people. And then eventually you're going to get to the next stage of life, whether it's like, you know, where you involve money and building a bigger podcast. That's when you're going to meet the same people when you get to that point. So to get to a certain point, you're going to have that lonely phase. And that lonely phase might look like a year, 2, 3, for some people 6 months.
Every person who wants to do something in their life or has done something with their life is going through the exact chapter you're going through. It's a lonely chapter. It's a chapter where you don't fit in with your old friends, but you don't have the achievements yet to fit in with a new group of friends. And you're doing all this stuff, the free tutorials online, and reading everything you can do and try to set up something you're working on. And what you're going through, and when you're going through it, you're thinking to yourself, is this even worth it? Because you're seeing no signs of success, but the signs of success is the hate you get along the way. Goes on for a bit, because you know deep down I can do more. So you listen to podcasts, you read the tweets, watch your videos, consume the content, because you know deep down I can do more than this, and you begin to see the person that you could be and realize how far you need to go. But despite how far away it seems, you look back down the dead end road and know that it's not where you want to be, and so you keep going, realizing there's no turning back.
And that's like spot on. And even like, I'll give you an example, right? So like even me and my brother, we spent years alone. And, you know, we had like a game plan. It was like, let's spend time alone, let's save our money, and let's eventually get seen and then build a business. So like I launched my business a while back, my pack sport business online. And I made a bunch of content for about a year and a half. And then I made a year and a half of content through our baking page. So I spent about 3 years making content. People don't really know that, all right? And then, you know, I go on the biggest show in Australia. And then, you know, we launched this other business, Sauci, and you were there the other night with the event, and it was a great outcome. Whereas, like, I did that years ago. When I launched my last business, I had like one product sold, if that, on the first day. I didn't tell anyone, didn't know nothing about business, didn't know what to do. I just thought put a product and go live, and that will sell. I didn't know nothing. And then you see like the 3 years of hard work and behind the scenes that people didn't see, and then we have a successful launch that night as a soft launch, and I'm sure the opening day is just going to be as successful. But that was like essentially like I go back to like the unseen work that people didn't see, or 3 years of hard work. And it's like now even the network that me and my brother have, like we were spent 3 years alone, literally knew no one, and now it's like even the last 6 months is crazy the amount of people where we met. Like I met you, and I also met a lot, and my brother as well, met a lot of other successful, you know, nah. And then all building at the same time. And it's like now I met so much more successful people in the last, say, 3 to 6 months. But it was because, you know, the 3 years of building and, you know, slowly networking over time, you get to that point. And it goes like that. And so I'm at like, for me and my brother, it feels like we're at that phase now where it's like now we're meeting people in the same path. But the last 3 years when no one's seen, we were trying to meet those people when we couldn't. We didn't. But now we've got the store, we've got the Sauci Pasta Bar, I've got a bit of social media presence, I've got events, I'm getting invited to events from the shows. Like, you know, that was all an accumulation of those quiet years. And now it's just starting to show up. So I can only imagine, you know, with the hard work and everything else in the next 2-3 years where I'll be with a network, where business will be, social media, etc. That's
why I do this.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. Like, and you think about how many people have had over 80 conversations in a year where they haven't used their phone or thought about something else, you know, for an hour, over an hour.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even like podcasting, that, man, it's so important. Like, even this is a good way to network as well.
Sure.
Like, you know, you meet me, and then we can be speaking with us off or on camera, and I'll be like, well, I actually know that person. I can reach out for you. And then you'll be like, yeah, can you get them on podcast? Or I can hand you over the numbers, and you can see where you go from there. Then you never know who you can speak to or meet next. And then eventually, you know, before you know it, you're getting someone else in the food industry, and before you know, you can do a collaboration on your content. And like, you know, you just never know where it takes you.
What did you learn most about yourself from those 3 years?
Just who I am, bro, and what I stand for.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah, I did. I'm an honest person. I don't need to lie. I don't need to beat around the bush.
What
I am
was the
who I
answer?
am.
You are who you are.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I am who I am. Like, I don't care if everyone loves me. I don't care if everyone hates me. Like, it doesn't bother me. And I know everyone's not going to hate me. I know everyone's not going to love me. And, I'm sure in time, my views and beliefs and all that sort of stuff will change as you get older, you mature and everything else. Like, as you grow in a person, what you see, how you see life now is not how I might see it in 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, it's funny. You look back on, it's exactly what you said before. Like, you look back on things and you're like, God, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But then you look at what you're doing now and you're like, oh, I'm actually glad that happened.
100%. And even like, going off the back end of that, like even going on the show, like I was comfortable in my own skin to know that, okay, I might say something that might piss people off. And I might think that was right at the time, but in a year's time, I might look back and be like, oh, damn, I was in the wrong. And I accept that and I reflect and that's it. Like I was comfortable enough to know that now that everything I say or do, people might not have the same views, but that's my belief now. But in a year's time, I might change it. Like, okay, well, I accept that I was wrong back then or whatever. And that's part of life. You just understand that you can be forever growing.
Was there anything that you went through that you look back on and have had that view?
I guess a lot of things in life, man. Like not just one thing in particular, but like you said, the way you view life now. Like imagine yourself the same ambition and dedication you have now to your businesses. If you had that back, 10 years ago, but you didn't. So it's about understanding that, okay, well, in life is forever involved. In life, we're forever evolving, and understanding that, like, okay, well, how I seen it back then is not how I see it now, and know that in the future, life might not look the same.
It's a good reminder because I suspect there's a lot of people out there, and you probably see it, that are just lost.
Yeah, and I think that people are just lost because, again, from my self-reflection and my years alone, it's because you don't know. Going back off what I said earlier, who exactly you are. Like, if your thing is to build, say, your steak page or your podcast, like, understand that that's all you want to do and do it. That's it. Like, don't pivot into 100 different other directions. And that's one thing I've done before. It's like, focus on one thing and believe in yourself that you'll get there. Understand that, okay, well, be realistic, but also have, like, manifest and visualize all that sort of stuff. But understand you've got to stay in that one lane and keep going towards there, and it will work out in the end. And anyway, it doesn't if you're not consistent and you fall off. Like, how can you cook steak every day and not eventually be the most known person? You know what I mean? And it's not saying that you might have to change things along the way. Like, you might have to pivot, show more personality, or whatever it might be. You'll figure that out the more content you put out. And
well, that's why I'm doing the long form.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I even told you some of the stuff I've done, but obviously I want to scale and bring more. I think my personality is what I'm trying to monetize essentially, because you can't replace that.
100%. And everyone's unique. Like, there's people that buy into me that won't buy into you. There's people that buy into you that won't buy into me. Yeah. But that's what makes I guess, like, putting yourself out there and having your own, like, personality online is, that's what makes it beautiful, that people relate to me and like me, and some people will hate me and love you. And I think that showing who you are and being authentic, once you know who you are though, if you sit there and put this character online that you're not, eventually that's going to fall off. Like, you will fall off and people will start seeing through the cracks. Same thing, like, if you act like this nice guy and you're not, it's just a matter of time before you start to show the world that you're not.
What would the 28-year-old say to who you are now? I just thought of that on the spot. Because you said 28, yeah?
Yeah. I just stick to the plan. Like, it's all falling into place. Like, it literally was. Like, when I genuinely say at 28, 27, me and my brother were like, all right, let's just get off social media, focus on making money, save a lot of money. It was literally like a 3-step process. It was like, all right, for 3 years, we're going to save money. We're going to educate ourselves in business, in finance, and understanding a bit more how the world actually really works. So we spent 3 years reading a number of books, listening to podcasts, doing our own research. And then it was like, once we did that phase, it was phase 2. Okay, we've got the money. When we're ready to start a business or start another business, we'll do it when it feels right, time is right. And everything fell into place. And it was like, okay, well, the second phase was, okay, now we need to start being recognized. We need people to start to notice our face. I'd never watched Mass before in my life. The opportunity came up, I took it. All right, well, essentially we spoke everything into existence. And now we're at the third phase is like okay, we're starting a business together. People know us. you know, and now it's about actually building that business to that point. And eventually, you know, the last step now, this phase is networking and building and understanding that this process is going to take some time, and then eventually get to the end goal, you know, the things that we want out of life, with what things money can buy.
Does that make it easy to keep going when you got that external?
Yeah.
Is that important?
100%. For me and my brother, it's the same thing. And I'm sure you can say the same thing. Once upon a time in life, you wanted to go full-time in your stuff, and you're doing it now. Once upon a time, like the jumper you were wearing, you wanted, so you got it. So when you look back and reflect on everything in your life, like little things like that. No, seriously, like, of course, you can't think about something and not get it. If you're constantly thinking about it, like even little things for me, like I wanted a car, I saved it on YouTube in 2014. And then one day I bought it. I forgot I saved it on my YouTube channel, and I bought that car. It's little things like that. When you put the puzzle together, you're like, everything I wanted out of life, what I truly wanted is I've got, or I'm gonna get. So why are you gonna doubt the stuff you want in the future? So if you want that car so bad, why are you doubting it when you got the last car that you wanted? Because once upon a time you wanted it and you got it. So it's like the things that, whether it's, you know, material things or the person you want to be or the business you want to have, you will get it. As long as you constantly, you know, put the work in and believe that will happen. Again, with the work, it's going to happen. It's just, again, maybe not on your time.
I got monetized on YouTube. I think it was on the 7th. No, hang on. So I'll go back. So it was on the 10th, I think, or the 9th of September. The 10th. I said I got monetized on the 10th. And on the 8th, I said my goal was to do it by the end of October.
See,
it happened in 2 days.
See, and that's right. So now, if you think you're gonna get now, you know, build another X amount of subscribers, why would you doubt yourself? You've done what you've done. Then you just understand that, like, you know, what you do is that it's the hard work.
Yeah, it's funny. The subscribers is a funny one because I've put more content out than I ever have across all my platforms, and it's hard. It's like I think my content's good, and I'm getting engagement on all the content. It's just with Instagram these days, it is harder to grow. But the momentum. I think I'm more so going for momentum. Yeah,
see, my advice, and this is what I learned through because we did the baking page, and we had we've had multiple hits and multiple viral videos. I've done viral videos on TikTok, just random TikToks and everything else. Sometimes, even like, you know, for Sauci content, me and my twin brother, like I understand that what you think might be good and your food tastes good, or vice versa, myself, is maybe not what people want to see, or they want to see something a little bit different. So you have to understand, okay, well, if you need views to grow, you need subscribers. And if you're putting out the content and you're not really getting it, then something needs to pivot. Something needs to change, whether it's something so simple like a hook, or whether it's something like adding music or doing a voiceover or something completely different. You need, because at the end of the day, if your views aren't constantly growing and your subscribers, and this goes for myself as well, you need to reassess. And now you've been putting that much content out, you'd be like, oh, that video killed it. That video done good. Now it's about integrating these things together, understanding. That's the point of putting out so much content, is understanding that these things are working and these things aren't. And you rule them out and you start adding those things in.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to balancing so much at the moment probably is the main.
But see, that's the thing. I guess maybe you've got to break it down to yourself. Be like, okay, well, what is the most important thing? Yeah. Like I said, I go back to the realistic mindset for me. It's like, okay, well, is your content the most important thing, or is your podcast? Is your podcast? All right. Yeah. If content's number one, then maybe instead of doing 5 podcasts a week or whatever you might do, we're going to focus on 2. So I got more time on the back end or that sort of stuff. Trying to do everything at once. And that's a big lesson that I learned for myself. Like, I have my other business, and it's taken it back for Sauci. But obviously, you know, I enjoy Sauci a lot much more because I'm doing my brother and my mum. And it's a lot easier when I had my own business, or have my own business, and I'm doing everything, it's a lot. It's over-consuming. I feel like sometimes you go nowhere. But when you got focusing on one thing, like in our business, like me, I'm focusing on the content. My brother and mum, my brother's focusing on, you know, getting the shop up to scratch and getting ready. And my mum's focusing on the back end. When you focus on one thing, bro, you go so much more further. And if you've got someone else to help you, like a friend or, you know, brother, sister, you can go a lot further when you just focus on one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of my time has been put into YouTube more than anything. So I'm not really, and I like the momentum is crazy.
Yeah,
like
that's
I'm having all these chats, and like YouTube's grown massively.
Yeah.
YouTube's been awesome.
And that's it. So if you put more time and attention to YouTube, you're going to get to where you are, no doubt.
I saw Chris Williamson say, he said, here are some things I've come upon recently. He said, you're not your thoughts. Action is the antidote to anxiety. Loneliness is a kind of tax you have to pay for a certain complexity of mind. Your weirdness is your competitive advantage. Joy has to be found today, not tomorrow. Never lie. Keep promises to yourself. Most problems are easily fixed. You are the sky. Everything else is just the weather. And he goes on to say, your anger, frustration, anxiety, and everything else is just a visitor in your mind. Sometimes it gets cloudy so you can't see the sun, but it's always there. So just breathe and let go of what's holding the cloud in place. Try and be angry for more than 5 minutes without constantly thinking about your anger. You can't. Realize that you are your architect of your own mood.
And like I said, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that even goes back to what I was saying, how I felt about myself.
Yeah.
You know, all those things. Yeah. And then I feel like I experienced that myself, and so I can totally relate to that.
What did you learn most about yourself during that period?
That I need to do what I say. Like if I say I'm gonna eat healthy and get to the gym 5 times a week, then I need to do it. If I say I'm gonna go for a walk every day, I need to do it. If I say I'm gonna post a piece of content today or work or whatever it might be, then I need to do it.
What happens if you don't?
I feel like for me, I'm all in or nothing. So if I fall off on one thing, I fall off on everything. So I need everything to be balanced. I need to make sure that I'm doing everything to feel the best about myself.
I saw a habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit.
100%. You know, and I had generally done that for the first 6 months. And I hadn't been like that for years either. And I know I mean, it's nothing new, but at the same time, like I said, to be successful, what it looks like to someone, to be successful, you need to stack up those little wins. That's just what makes you feel good daily. Like if you say you're going to read 10 pages or call your mum or whatever it might be, just those little things. I spoke to, like I said, my psychologist. I met some lady and she was helping me out, and she said a few things and this helped me a lot too. She goes write 5 big goals for the day, you know, whatever it is, it looks like. And then write, 10 smaller ones or 5 smaller ones. And she goes, prioritize the five big goals for the day. And then if you don't hit the other 5, then don't stress. But I mean, I started to do that. That helped me a lot. It's okay, well, these are the 5 most important things. Where there's little things like, put a piece of content out, call your mum, go for a walk, go gym, whatever. These are the most important things today. As long as I achieve that, I had a successful day. Anything other than that is a bonus. And I started doing that, and honestly, I started feeling much better. And I was like, it was a good way to look at it. So sort of way, okay, these are what I need to get done, and these are really prioritized. If I don't get these done, then it's okay. It's not the end of the world. At least I got these things done. These are the most important things today. And because I was speaking to her, and she's like, you are all or nothing, and being all or nothing sometimes isn't a good thing, because you start to overthink everything, and you think if you didn't do something, then it starts to play with your mind. I didn't get that done. I should have got it done. And then you start overthinking and feeling the type of way about yourself. And when she broke it down like that, I don't know, it was just a good way to look at it.
Is talking to someone like that, does that help? Because I've got that trait. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if she was a psychologist or maybe a mindset coach. Because she reached out to me when I was on the show, after the show, when I was feeling lost. And it definitely did. The way she was breaking it down for me wasn't how I viewed things. For me, for example, my business, I'm like, well, at the time I was sort of taking a back step, but I didn't know if I wanted to keep going. I was just so confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And she's like, just put it in a grey area. Just do what you said, 2-3 things that day for it, so you feel like you achieved something, and just keep it in the grey area. You don't need to decide on that right now. And little things like that she told me that I never heard of or looked at it like that. Some things in life you can have your for me right now, Sauci's the main focus. My other business is in the grey area. It's just sitting there. I'm still selling products, but it's not growing. It's just staying there. But I'm okay with that because I have it there in the grey area. If I wanted to grow and keep putting everything into it, I would do it. But obviously I don't want to, because I got my focus here, and that's where I want my focus to be. And I accept that, so it makes the way I feel, makes me feel a little bit better and a little bit less anxious. Because if you think, I should be growing this business, but I'm focusing here, but my attention should be there, your mind's just constantly overworking.
How bad did it get 6 months ago? Well, not even 6 months ago, not even that long ago.
Yeah, to be fair, for me, I don't have depression or anything like that, but It was more like I just felt pissed off, constantly pissed off. You know what I mean? Like I felt angry.
At yourself?
Yeah, it's like fuck. And the worst part about it is for me, like I had my game plan. I knew once I got on the show, I knew that like this year, the temptation is going to be crazy. I like the girls, the parties, the people around me. I knew that. I knew that that's the world I'm going to be stepping into. And I said I'm not going to fall into that trap. Like my brother was reminding me too. Like, don't fall in that trap. Don't do it. Like, it's going to happen. And I was like, no, it's not going to happen. And it happened. So I kind of then I woke up one day and like all hit me. Like, I didn't feel like I didn't physically look the best. I feel like I took a back step in that. You just felt pissed off, bro. You just felt angry at yourself. Looking in the mirror, not liking what you see in the sense of, physically, maybe internally, just pisses you off by the same
Glad
time.
you went through it though.
Yeah. It was like, for me, it was like, it was a lesson to know that, okay, well, if I see my life going in this direction, I'm on social media now. I want to keep growing my business. I want people to know who I am. Ideally, for my business, I want the world to know who I am. So it's like I was on the platform there where I feel like the whole of Australia knew me. So now, like, the next level is going to be above that. So now I'm aware that, well, that same thing will happen, but next time will be a lot more at stake. So I can't let that happen again. So next time, like, if I get to another level and, like, I'm making money for the business is killing it, and I fall off, everything's going to take a toll. Right now, I could have took that toll and took that loss because I didn't really lose anything. Where it's like they were just preparing me for another life situation down the track to be like, hey, you can't be going out drinking every weekend or hanging around the wrong people because you can't afford that now because you have a lot more to lose, whether, have a family at the time or whatever. So it's just like a lesson that I learned that I will never repeat again.
Do you get anxious in public?
Pardon?
Do you get anxious in public?
Nah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what it's like to get,
I mean, to be fair, when I was on the show and that, man, I say nothing but love. Like, even though I was copping hate online, and I'm sure everyone got it as well. Like, you meet a lot of people, like, everyone's like, oh, you're my favorite. My mum loved you or whatever.
My mum watched you. She wanted me to say that.
Did she?
Yeah, she watched it.
So there you go.
She asked me what I was doing today.
It's crazy, man, because the mums,
yeah.
and in considering my situation, I was like, I didn't want someone with a child, and I said that honest, and that's just the truth. I don't. There's nothing wrong with someone with a child, but it's just not what I wanted in a partner. I want to share that with someone else, which I explained anyway. But the amount of like older mums, like respected what I said was crazy. Like I reckon every second person was like, "Oh, you're my mum's favorite on the show," considering she was a mum too. But that generation understood what I was saying because a lot of them obviously felt the same way.
Was it hard when you're getting all that hate and there's I think I heard it, even the guy said it on that podcast. He said there was a preconceived understanding of who you were as a person. Was it hard when that was happening, when the stuff that was getting said wasn't who you really were and you knew that?
Yeah.
Or you didn't?
Nah, for me, so this is the way I viewed it. I was like, I signed up for it. So whatever I got. I can't be mad at anyone.
You regret it?
Whatever. Nah, not at all. Because I knew for a fact, I was like, hey, well, I got a bit of the villain edit, so they call it on the show. And I knew the people that got the great edit. I knew who was a good person, who wasn't a bad person. I've seen everything. I'm pretty good. I'm a great judge of character. So I was like, if anything, it makes it more interesting for people to perceive me in a certain light from what they've seen. Now, when they see me on social media and, say through podcasts and what I put out there to the world, whether they meet me in person, they're going to be like, wait a minute. This guy's nothing that I thought he was. So it makes me more interesting. And I think even that now, people are like, oh, the minute the show finished, I got straight away from the show. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I didn't want the drama. I didn't care about it. I didn't live in that life before the show. I'm not going to live in it after the show. So people got curious about me. But at the same time, I guess they say, like, no publicity, like, there's no such thing as bad publicity and good publicity, or bad publicity, sorry. So for me, I was like, all right, I could be wrong here, but I was like, when you think of the show, you think of a couple of people and I'm one of them. So like the world seeing who I was. So it's like, for me, it's like a top of funnel. Everyone sort of knows who I am. And then eventually they can sort of buy into me. And eventually they can say buy from me. That's just the way I view it. Everyone knows who I am, get the exposure. Then people are going to be like, oh, I've seen this guy who's on that show. Oh, what's he doing now? And then somehow slowly get invested in what I'm doing on social media and my businesses. And then eventually, come into the store, buy my product online. So that's just how I viewed it.
Is your goal to be not all good? Would your goal not to be recognised for that then? Like to be recognised for something else that you've done?
My goal.
Yeah, well, like even just the person that you want to be, because like I suspect there'll be a point in the future where you won't want to talk about like going on that show. Like it'll be
100%.
Yeah.
Even like now, man, I don't really talk about it. None of my content, like people from the show are still sitting there doing content about it.
Yeah.
You know, taking videos with other people in the cast members, you know, making content about the show and relating to the show. Me, I got so much more to offer. I know that. Like those people who are obviously bored and don't have much going on with their life, they're still invested and only can get views for that sort of type of content. Me, I know like I offer so much more than that show. And like I'm so much more interested in that show and, you know, about a fake relationship in the sense. So, yeah, I think, you know, like even the other day, me and my brother were in a walk down at the markets. I can't remember where it was. And people were all talking about, you know, the pasta bar. Like no one said anything about maths. They're like, oh, we've seen your TikTok or your Instagram post that you made. Not one person mentioned maths. So now I'm like rewriting the script. I want people to know me and my brother as the business guys, the business twins, the guys with the pasta bar, the guys with the businesses, the guys, you know. And in time, you know, when people meet you and whatnot, the whole perception will change about you. And I know that. Like it was come next year. I had nothing to do with maths. The Newcastle get it, and good luck to them. I don't want nothing to do with it.
I remember you said a few years ago, reminder, be grateful where you are now, but know you have so much more potential.
Yeah, 100%. You know,
is that something you still... I remember you wrote that years ago.
Yeah. And like I said to you before, like every day I'm grateful. You know, when I lie in bed every day, I thank God for everything that I have. There's simple things. Like gratitude, as they say, gratitude and negativity can't lives in the same part of your brain. So you can't be negative and grateful at the same time. And I do believe that's why I got grateful tattooed on my hand. The more grateful you are for things in life, the more blessed you'll be as well. You know?
Do you still have your down days now though?
Yeah, not so much, but I definitely do. Like there's days where, you know, you're wondering if it's all going to work out. And like you said, I think you just got to sit back. You know, reflection's a blessing. You know, if you sit there and reflect, like, even though you're feeling bad, you're like, wait a minute, like, everything's going to work out. Like, it's working out right now. Like, you know, you might want money for all this sort of stuff, but you're making money from there. Like, you just got to understand that, okay, well, it's just me wanting to be much further ahead is making me feel a type of way. But, like, you sit back and be like, nah, I'm in a good spot. It's all working out.
You and your brother said that you were more so focused on where you're going. Is that fear there about, like, maybe it won't pan out the way it...
Nah, man, to be fair, that's one thing I can adamantly say. Like, I know it's all going to plan out. Like, I know it's all going to pan out. And the same as him. Like, when you got friends around you and their brother or sister that have the same, like, focus and belief, I don't see how it's not possible. Like, if you know that you can put the work in and you know you're going to put the work in and you're going to stick to this mission, the same mission, how are you not going to hit it? Like, again... Success looks different to everyone. I know what my life, the life that I want to live. I don't want to make $1 billion. That doesn't interest me. Don't care. I would love to make X amount of money and eventually jump off social media and never jump on it again myself. Like, that's my goal. My goal is to build up now, and in no time I'm 45, 50, you know, have my properties or whatever, and then go into like having my main house with big land and fucking never touch social media again. And I definitely can achieve that. It doesn't cost $1 billion. It's not going to be $1 billion lifestyle. You know, it might be a couple million, but it's possible. And I'm playing the long game. I'm not saying I want to be a millionaire in the next, you know, 2 years. It's just possible, but at the same time, I'm playing like, you know, the 10-year game, you know, the 15-year game with my brother as well. It's not like I'm expecting to do it alone. Me and him are doing it together.
One thing I've learned as I get older is money isn't happiness, is security. The journey of life is about constantly learning and following. Is about constantly learning and growing and following what it is you love and opening your mind to seeing life in ways others might not understand. You said that as well.
Yeah, like I'm good, man.
You're reflective, you're a deep thinker.
Nah, 100%. But that only goes back to knowing myself. Like that's how I view life. Like money is nothing. Like you can get $1 million today. Is it going to change your mission? If it's going to change your mission, then it's not your mission. Like, what are you doing it for? You're doing it for the person you're going to become. You know, you're doing it for yourself to say, you know, I said I was going to be the biggest creator on, you know, in the meat industry, and you've done it. That's what you're doing it for. You're not doing it for money. You're doing it for your own reasons, like your own belief, because you said you're going to do it and you've done it. And, you know, it's about security. It's not about the money. Security in the sense that, like, you know, you're comfortable and you don't have to worry about money.
I heard someone say the other day, if you won $1 million, would you do anything different tomorrow?
Yeah. And the question is, if you would, then you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, in a sense, when people go, like, you need to do what you love, all that is mean that you're going to stay consistent. If you love what you do, you're going to stay consistent and you'll be successful in it. If you break it, like, a lot of things in life is that simple. You just have to break it down. It's not overcomplicated. Like, if you know, someone said, you know, you wouldn't make content anymore, then don't make content now, because you're going to fall off eventually. Because when you don't make, you know, $10,000 a month doing that, and it's taking you longer than expected, you will fall off. It's just a matter of time. That's why they say you need to find what you love to do. But the thing is, like, for me, like, I think, like even, I don't necessarily, like, I love, you know, business. I don't love really, like, anything in particular. Like, I don't love, like, example, a pasta bar, but I love business. Building a business, creating things, you know, serving people food that they love. That's what I enjoy about it. It's not necessarily about one thing in particular. It's about the business and doing things like being able to build with my brother. Like, that's what I love to do. It's not necessarily about, like, one thing in particular. But I know that about myself.
Do you find it hard to, so if your business is, because I struggle to just, yeah, what you said before about focus, like, maybe I should put more time into one thing over another. This other business that you've got, seeing that, is that always going to be there, or do you think there'll be a time where you're just like, I'm all in on this?
My personal business? Yeah, see, man, I don't know. Like, this is a thing right now. I'm sort of like, with Sauci, like, me, my brother and my mum, we can go so much further, so much quicker, because we're focusing on different parts of the businesses. And I want to, like, for this to be fully successful and build it to where we want to build it down in the future, you know? You know, we want places all around Australia and people to know us for that. But it's like, can we get there if I'm, like, half here, half there? If my brother's half here, half there? Is my mum half there, half there? Half here, half there? So it's like, we all sort of need to be 100% invested, like, everything from our mind being free to this one thing we need to be focusing on. So it's definitely something that's playing on my mind now, that do I just let that go and focus all in and probably do this? Yeah, because a part of you is like, did I fail? But it's like, and then I break it down, I'm like, well, I'll sell out all my products. It's not an issue. I only have, like, about 150 bags left. Once I put ads up, put them on sale, they'll go. I have no doubt. But then I look at that, I break it down, like, well, that's a success. Because I still sold everything. I just chose not to continue because my focus is over here now. But at the same time, I'm like, it's never, like, again, going back, it's never really a failure, because I learned all these things that I've taken into this business in itself. You know, from that business. Had I not made content for a year and a half from my business, or, you know, learned certain things or met certain people that told me certain things, this one wouldn't even be where it's at now. Like, obviously, from my part anyway. So it's like, I mean, it's just more of an ego thing. I think it's just ego. Just if I let it go and accept that this is God's plan for me, this is where He wants me to be, you know, me and my family building this business, then accept it. Understand that was a journey, and that's time to let go of that. And there was a reason, and maybe the reason is because this is going to be the biggest pasta bar in Australia. And if I don't let go of it, then it's just my ego. I think it's just ego, bro. That's all it is.
Are you content in where you are right now?
Yeah, man, I can't complain, man. I'm in a good position. You know, I have my business. I have business with my brother and mum, and we're in a great position leading up to this launch. You know, I've done all the things I said I want to do in life, and a few other things I didn't expect I would do. Yeah, I definitely am. Life is good. I have nothing to complain about. Most importantly, bro, I'm healthy. That's the main thing.
I say that because I'm the type of person that struggles to be content, and we've got a similar brain.
Yeah, I think, well, like I said, bro, I think it just goes back down to, like, what is it exactly that you want out of this, out of life? Like, and when you really know what it is that you want, like, do you want to just buy a house? Where do you want to buy a house? Do you want a family? Do you want kids? Like, when you really just break it down to what it is that like your success looks like, I think you can become more content. Like, for me, like I said, go back to the farm. I want a farm, bro. I don't care about having a fucking high riser. I'm $5 million penthouse in the city. I just want a farm that's probably worth 1.5 million with big land. That's it. That's achievable. I don't even need to have that. I just need to have a deposit for that. Like, I think, it's understanding and what would you be happy? Like, how much subscribers would you be happy with? Like, if you got stuck on X amount of subscribers on YouTube, what would you be happy with? And would you continue to make content for them? Like that, it's just about understanding that. I think when you understand your goals and what you want out of life and who you are and what you expect that you can get out of it, you'll be more content. But then also understand maybe like you might not even be content, bro. You know what I mean? Like once you get 10 million and 10 million becomes your norm, you can. The next is it's never ending. Numbers are never ending. Whether it's subscribers, followers, money, bro, it's never ending. You're always gonna want more, and you just accept that, and that's how you come content. Is understand that. Okay, well, it's gonna be forever growing.
So true.
And that's my belief anyway.
I always said it was what it's going to be like when I get monetized. Because I was like, you had the 4,000 hours, you're just going closer. And then when you get there, it's like, oh, don't really feel any different.
Yeah, and
I think that's why it's good writing down goals though, because you can, or even like speak into a camera. Sometimes I'll pull out a camera, I'll just talk to the camera.
Yeah. Even talking to yourself in the shower, man. Like, even this sounds stupid, bro. I used to talk to myself in the shower. Then I was on a podcast. I've never been on a podcast. I've done this for years. In the shower, just sit there and I would answer the questions that I think people would ask me. And then before you know it, I'm on a TV show. Then people ask me on their podcast. Like this, I've done years ago. And even then, like writing down your goals and all that, even talking to yourself and talking out loud and that, right? Definitely, everyone needs to do that stuff. Just keep you whether it's more sane or to remember the mission that you're on.
I'm going to read out a quote that just emphasizes what you just said then. That you wrote again. Many of the problems you're facing now are positioning you for something better. Things that don't make sense now at some point will. How you spend your time will tell you exactly what you're committed to. Every blessing doesn't come to stay. Keep doing the right thing even when the wrong thing is happening. Why choose to fight when you can work with it? Consistent habits get memorized.
So
you remember writing that?
Nah, but see,
you did. 100%.
When I say these things, but I'm sure sort of the quotes that you read now is how I speak. That's just what I believe. So it's like that's just like just showing you that is exactly who I am and how I think. I am a deep thinker. This is how I generally think. This is what I believe is the right way to live or to think or to feel. In my belief, I'm not saying that's how you should. It might not work for you, but it does for me. And I listen to that. I'm like, oh damn, I didn't write that. That's so true.
Are you glad you have that brain?
100%. Like, funny enough, bro, and my brother, speaking for my brother himself as well, a lot of people, look at actors or people with money or whatever it might be and think, I want to be that person. Me and my brother used to look at the way people spoke, and there's people like, Jim Ron, Nipsey Hussle, and people like Tupac. Listen to the interviews, listen to how they speak, and listen to how they speak and the way they perceive life. That is what was always attractive to me and my brother. Like, these are the people that we looked up to. It was their mindset. It was the way they thought about everything. Like, some people look up to people that are chasing money, and like I look up to people that like see the world different, and that is like who I want to become. And I think I'm on the path to get into that person. Eventually I want to get to a point where I've done a lot of things in my life and I come up with a credible source, and people can, I can open people's mind to seeing like what life's really about in the bigger picture, rather than getting too caught up on, the money, the followers, this and that, rather than the way of thinking. Because essentially the way you think is you're going to be the outcome of your life.
What are the questions that you're asking in the shower that you're hoping people would ask?
I think, it's just more the way of thinking. It was more about getting the best out of me and my response and views in life.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a direct question, but just more about giving me the opportunity, asking me the questions to really explain my way of thinking.
What would you say to someone that wants more in life?
What would I say? Well, what do you have in your life right now? Like, what do you need more? Is there more that you want? You know what I mean? Like, you want a car? You want a nice car? You have a car. So what is it exactly that you want? And what don't you have?
And how do they get towards that? How do they get to that point?
About
If they want that but they don't have it, what is it they need to do?
go back to understanding exactly who they are. Like, and obviously, no matter what you do, you need understanding, and knowledge and educating yourself in certain fields to get into what you want. Like, you can't say you want money and don't understand where money comes from and how it works. Like, for example, millionaires. Like, people with a lot of money have a number of resources, whether it's like, money in certain savings accounts, investments, businesses. Like, people think you see someone with a bunch of money. It's like they don't have one source of income. They've got like 10 or 15 and places putting their money in the right places. Like, if you want money, okay, let's have $1 million. What do you do with it next? Like, what's the first step that you would do? Sit in a bank account? Well, that's a stupid idea. Because if you understand money is putting it in a normal bank account, savings account, what interest is like 1.5%, opposed to like putting an ETF fund hypothetically and sitting $1 million there, understand that's 10% interest every year. Little things like that, like, it's about understanding and having knowledge in whatever it is. And obviously, when money, it's got to have knowledge about it.
Shares are funny, hey. I got a few shares and I don't even, forgot about them.
Game.
I forgot about them. Did you sit in there?
I mean, if you've got an ETF fund and you keep your money in there, then that's fine.
Yeah.
It accumulates every year 10%.
Yeah.
So if you've got 100,000 every year, guaranteed 10,000.
Yeah.
So that's all. I mean, that's like the bit. I don't understand too much, but my brother knows a bit more about me, about that than me, or a lot more about that. So it's like, but then again, that's why you got to have good people around you that, okay, you might be a strong point at business and that person might be strong at understanding how shares work and when to buy coins and, what stocks to put it in. That's why network is sort of so important. You have the right people around you.
I don't have many people sit on the podcast, but I think it'd be remiss of me not to ask about the man who's sitting here today as well. What is it like having someone, and I think you sort of said it before, but having someone like him in your life? And I'm assuming from what it does to you and how it makes you feel, there's like you said about feeling alone. Like, you don't feel alone because you've got someone else there, and you're building with someone that you've, been around for, have you had time apart for any part of your life?
Yeah, well, we lived separate for a year and a half. He lived in Melbourne, I was in Sydney. But I mean, I guess it's fortunate enough for me and him that we have like two people that are on the same mission and want the same things out of life. Like, do you believe you'd get there?
I think I'll get there?
Do you think you're going to get
100%.
there? Okay, now imagine the person next to you with the same belief.
The
days you doubt yourself, like the benefit is like days I doubt myself, and like he might be in that mindset where everything's possible and I'm questioning everything. So if we work in the same business, he might be motivated on the days that I'm not, and vice versa. Yeah. And eventually, like, imagine those two of you on the same mission. You're gonna get there. You have no doubt.
I literally said that to my housemate. My housemate, sorry to cut you off. I said to my housemate, I wish there were two of me. See? My housemate was like, you'd be fucking rich or something. He said something funny. He said you'd just be...
That's right. Yeah. You'll be unstoppable, even though you can be unstoppable by yourself.
100%.
Like, imagine you did it with a best friend or your own brother. So like I said, like with us, even, Sauci, but there's no way it's going to fail. Because it's not, because you've got two people that believe it's not going to happen. Two people putting the work in, including my mum as well. But now, like, you got 2-3 people on the same mission. How? It's not possible. If you're not going to fail by yourself and you think you won't, now imagine 2 people with that same mindset, bro. It's
I think what you said before, like, do I believe I'm going to succeed? Yes. But, like, am I putting in the work? Yes. Is it in the shadows? Yes. Will people realise in the future? Yes. And I'm assuming that's sort of been what we've been speaking about today, is like you're putting in the work. No one sees what goes into it. But when you get to a certain point,
but I look at it as like compound interest. Bro.
100%.
You just don't. A lot of people don't see it. Like I said, people look at people that blow up overnight on social media and think, oh, this guy, whether it's food or whatever field it's in, you know what I mean? Like that guy probably has started cooking hypothetically when he was 5 years old with his mum in the kitchen or his dad in the kitchen, or and then that girl might have made 5 years of content for another business that no one ever seen the face of her. She knew the ins and outs of social media, how it works, and studied it. Like, people don't understand that. It's all compound interest. Like, everything is accumulation of the past. I
did a post on LinkedIn the other day. I'll see if I can find it. And it was about the numerous basically it was about I know for a fact that there will be a time where people, realise what I'm doing with this show. And it might take a long time, but it's going to happen.
Well, a perfect example, man, is like, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure I've seen Chris Williamson
Recently.
talk about something saying that like he was having X amount of views and subscribers and he went from like 1 million, I can't remember the numbers exactly, but it was something like 1 million to 10 million in like weeks or a month. Like he tripled. It took like 5 years to get to this point, and then overnight pretty much he went like tripled it.
1 billion plays, 7.5 years, 994 episodes, 10,000 hours with AirPods in. There's a screenshot in here from when the show had already been going for 3 months. I publish an episode every week and the total plays across the whole catalogue was 3. Not 3,000 or 303. I'm proud of that guy. I'm just getting started. The next few months are straight madness with the best episodes I've ever filmed or released coming up. Peppy or Angus.
See, that's essentially how you got to look at it yourself. And the only way you don't become successful, bro, is if you fall off. And that's it. If you don't stay consistent, you fall off. It's all good to stay, like, be excited. But, like, the days are going to come where you can't be bothered. And it's how you show up on those days. As Jesus, it might sound, is essentially going to be the difference between you and someone else. Because there's someone else out there that's feeling the same type of way and doesn't want to do it and, hasn't budged on views or listenings or followers or whatever it might be that you do. But they're still showing up every day.
That's exactly right. Is there anything we haven't spoken about today that you'd want to touch on?
Nah, rather than, don't know when this podcast is coming out, but next Saturday, what is it, 26th? Open up Sauci Pasta Bar. So if you're in Melbourne, come down.
I can get it up pretty quick, mate. Don't worry. We'll have to do another one of these in a few months, mate. I'm keen. Not a few months, maybe, I don't know, maybe, 12 months.
Oh, 27th.
27th?
Yeah.
Well, I've had a few interviews. I've only done one where I've done like someone else again. And it's always good to...
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because then we'll
enjoy
see
the journey.
how I was speaking, if I spoke into existence or talking,
That's
if
why
I'm a reflection of exactly how I speak.
Yeah.
If I believe in myself in that, we'll see. In a year's time, definitely we'll interview in a year's time. And,
Hopefully I'll got a studio by then.
Well, you will have a studio,
100%.
you know what I mean? If you stay consistent, and again, it goes back to break it down. What's the cost for a studio? Like, do you want to own a studio? Do you want or rent it out? It's definitely possible.
I want a media business.
Yeah, they're killer these days, man. It's definitely possible.
Yeah,
and they're good
100%.
businesses now, especially.
Yeah, a media business.
Always need is a warehouse and deck it out.
Yeah, I want a full team, like overseeing everything I do, traveling around the world, doing what I want.
That's the goal, man. Sounds like a good life, bro.
Yeah,
I'm backing your brother. I believe in you.
100% going to happen. It's already in motion.
That's it,
just
exactly.
Doing everything every day.
All in due time, bro. It's going to happen. Don't doubt. And stay consistent. And make sure you surround yourself with the right people that, that make you question yourself or doubt you. And keep going, bro.
Thanks for your time today, mate. Been a cracker.
Thanks for having me,
So
bro.
good.
Appreciate it.
Good?
Yeah, it was good, bro. Enjoyed it.
That was a good one.
Oh, my leg.
Yeah.
Getting cramped up.